Hey folks, Rob Friday here with Mike Hall from Lighthouse Hiring Innovations, and want to film a quick video just to show you as a PI client some of the neat new features that we have available through Lighthouse Connect, basically connecting the Predictive Index platform over to this front-end process that basically screens resumes using AI natural language processing, connects to Predictive Index so that you can actually manage everything in one platform. So kind of an exciting evolution that should save your talent acquisition team a ton of time. Here you can see I'm actually in the platform. This is a live version of the platform. This particular job was an office administrator. This client got 1,228 applicants actually in the first 10 days. And basically what the system does is it plugs into Indeed or LinkedIn and uses AI natural language processing to screen the resumes. And then we've integrated it with Predictive Index so that we can actually trigger the PI assessments to be sent and the data to be pulled back into this platform. So you get a nice clean dashboard. Shows you the Lighthouse score, which is basically the resume score. And then you can see over here, I've got candidates that have completed both the behavioral and cognitive assessment, and I can see the combined fit score. So I have this clean dashboard that shows me my highest rated candidates to help me basically identify both who I should be screening with PI and then who I should be moving forward in the interview process. If I click on someone, I can actually see both their behavioral placard and their cognitive assessment results. If I click on the placard, I can get the full behavioral assessment right in this platform. So it's actually pulling it back from PI using the API, which is quite nice. And you can see I've got the additional data there as well. For the cognitive, if I want to see the more granular data, it's all available right here. So I can quickly see who I want to move forward. And then also on these features down at the bottom here, if I want to move them forward in the process, I have some automations where I can configure emails and stuff like that to basically invite people to the next step of our interview process. But I wanted to spend a minute passing it over to Mike to introduce himself and show you a bit about how the front end works, where the applicants basically get screened in the system using the Lighthouse AI and natural language processing system.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Hey, everyone. I'm Mike Hall. I'm the CEO of Lighthouse Hiring Innovations, and I'll show you a little bit more of the platform and what we can do, especially around applicant screening and how we can create some efficiencies there. So Rob did just show you the predictive index side of the platform, but we also have some really awesome stuff that we do on the applicant screening side. If you think essentially about what applicant screening is, it's the manual task of going through resumes and pulling out information in order to make a decision. Should I move forward with this person or should I move past them? And so that manual review in recent years has become worse and worse as we've seen applicant volumes increase. The volume hasn't increased proportionally with that of qualified candidates. And that's where we come in. So essentially what we did was we built an AI engine that tries to pull out all of that critical information and let you decide what's important to you and do that manual review for you on your behalf, ultimately score ranking candidates so that we can show you the most likely fit candidates first. And so if you think about what we're doing, all that information you're trying to look for inside of the resume, we're pulling it out and we're saying, build a scorecard. And we set you up with a scorecard to start. So we set you off on a great baseline based on the job description. Our AI essentially pulls out the base level of what that scorecard should look like. But then you can go in and you can tweak it to your liking, deciding here's the nuances of the job and my company that really matter to me in order to identify who is the right fit for this company. So if you think about what a scorecard really breaks down into, what you usually are looking for, things like skills and competencies, education and certifications, background experience, like jobs they've held, and even things we call attributes, but behavioral elements inside of those resumes, things like, are they leaving roles quickly? Are they being promoted in previous companies? Are they staying for a long time? And what we do is we can actually allow you to search for all of that through every single resume that applies to your job posting. And we're doing that in some cool ways. So one, on the skills side, we're not just looking for keywords like a typical tool would. We're actually using natural language processing to identify skills and competencies just like a human would. So if you imagine someone writing a resume, if they actually have the skill you're looking for, they're rarely trying to keyword stuff. They're oftentimes describing what they did in an effective way, but they're missing on the keywords. So what we do is we have our natural language processing engine go in and identify these things based on that context. That way you don't have to. And so we can push those people to the top, even if they never said office administration or invoicing particularly. We can also get into some cool stuff around experience, things like, does industry matter to you, or company size of companies that they've worked for? Maybe you're a small business and someone who worked at a company with 10,000 employees. is less critical to your, they won't have quite the right fit as someone who has worked in a similarly sized company to you. And so we can allow you to actually search for all of these things inside of the resumes and create these really cool customized scorecards that fit your niche for your particular role in your company in order to, again, identify the best candidates. And at the end of the day, you end up with this score ranked pile of candidates. As you can see, 1,200 applications would be really tough to screen manually, but now we've ranked every single one of them against that scorecard. And you can see there's 52 pages here. At the bottom, you're going to see all the candidates who ultimately met none of the criteria. That's where you're seeing a score of 0. At the top, you're seeing candidates who met the most or met most of that criteria. 8 out of 10 is what you're seeing most of these people scoring at. If you actually look at these candidates, you're also going to see something a bit unique and different. We're no longer showing you a resume off the bat, though you definitely have access to that just up here. Instead, what we're trying to do is reformat that so that you can have a really clear, objective review of that candidate, and you can see the most important information first. Things like, what was their work experience? The green checks indicating what matched. You can even see things like the company that they worked for, the industry, and even the tenure here. So you can start to identify patterns of their work history and decide, does this make sense for you and your company? You can also see things like skills that are matching against your job posting. And as you can see, these are pulled from resume context. So if I clicked into one of these, you'll see this was actually what they wrote in their resume that we labeled with administrative support. Notice that they didn't actually say administrative support, and they don't have to, because we're going in there and intelligently reading all of that data in order to say they have this skill and you should look at this person. We do the same thing with education and certifications as well, able to pull that information out and allow you to score and rank against it. Finally, when you get to the bottom here, you can actually do some interesting things in order to move these candidates through your process. As Rob mentioned, Predictive Index is integrated in here. This person is at that stage. And if you wanted to move forward with a candidate or send out a PI assessment, you can actually do that here and click View PI Assessment or Send PI Assessment. And you'll have the options down here to send your behavioral and send your cognitive. Once you do that, that will actually appear here. And you'll be able to click on your candidates when they've completed those and see that information flow directly in. Assuming that you like that candidate and you want to move forward, you can then actually move them into the next stages of your process. Speaking of the stages of your process, we do support interviews in here, although this role doesn't actually have any. But usually what you can do is actually, as you move candidates through that process, you can create these customized, tailored interview tracks that we can then follow the candidates through step by step. And when you're in that interview side, you can start tracking those candidates, tracking notes, creating scorecards, questions. And even one of the things that we can do is we can have our AI tool suggest interview questions to you based on what they're missing from that scorecard. So you can imagine if a candidate had most of the skills, but not quite all of them, or competencies, or was missing some history that you were looking for, we actually have an AI tool that will suggest questions to target those things specifically in the interview so you can get the most of that interview in that conversation with that candidate. At the end of the day, we save companies quite a lot of time, up to 95% of manual effort spent on screening. We help them identify better talent inside of their talent pools, especially when those talent pools get really, really large. And we improve time to hire quite significantly because we can help you identify great, talented candidates right off the bat without having to do, again, that manual process of screening. So I'll pass it back over to you, Rob. I'll let you close this off, but thanks for listening to me, folks.
Yeah, if you're interested in learning more, we actually have the ability to set up a demo portal where we can give you a folder to upload some of your sample applicants. We can actually create a custom job scorecard for you and show you how that could work as a free demo. Or if you're interested in trying the platform out, actually integrating it both with PI and with your system, pilots start at about $575 US, and we kind of go up from there. Interested in learning more, reach out, and we're happy to set up a custom demo for you. Thanks. Look forward to talking to folks real soon.